it is fair to say that we live in a very unpredictable world today. A lot of measures being discussed and some of them put in place that will hamper the free movement of goods that we have known and maybe taken for granted over the past couple of decades. The way that we deal with this is first and foremost to stay very close to our customers and understand actually the implications that this is going to have. Because ultimately what decides how many cars or how many of a certain product gets sold is how much the consumer is ready to consume at the end of the day. The tariffs in and by themselves may create inflation, but they do not influence that number. It's the consumer that influences those numbers.
Demand is still there.
So right? Demand is really what we need to be on the lookout for. And so far, demand has been holding out, I think, quite strongly. Throughout the last couple of years, there's been a lot of talk about either recessions or decelerations, and actually demand across the globe has stayed fairly steady. And we've seen good growth in our business. Now there is these new possible fees or possible obstacles being implemented. I think the first thing is, as I mentioned, to stay close to your customers, develop contingencies for what you will do if suddenly traffic was to drop, so that you can withdraw capacity, reduce your cost, and have your house in order, if I can say so. But also to involve yourself in the process and engage with the stakeholders to make sure that some of these measures that are being implemented do not have adverse impacts to the extent that we can prevent it.
Right. As many critics say that they worry about the global trade prospects because of all these potential tariff threats. And are you still optimistic at the maybe mid and long-term prospects of trade growth?
Well, I would say we have actually shared that we expect a growth this year around 4% still in traded volumes, which by historical standard would still be actually quite a healthy growth. I would say that as I stand today, I still believe in that number. Demand certainly in the first quarter of this year has remained quite steady for goods to be transported, despite all of this uncertainty. And whereas there is a lot of clouds in the horizon, you could say, about how this is going to develop, maybe more than there was a few months ago. We have yet to see that these clouds are more than just clouds, but that they actually do implement and have some adverse impacts on demand and on the economy in general. So until we know a little bit more, I think I remain cautiously optimistic, even though we are also looking very, very closely at what is developing and thinking about what countermeasures or what mitigation plans we would need to put in place if some of these more extreme measures were to be applied.